Hi, third graders. This is Mrs. Smith with your lesson for today. Today's lesson comes from chapter 11, lesson number 4, and it's called Solve Math Problems. Today we're going to be talking about how to solve math problems using numbers, a balance scale, and symbols for the unknown. If you haven't had a chance to watch the video that I posted about another teacher talking about the balance bucket scale, you're going to want to pause this video and go back and watch that now. If you've already watched that video, then you can go ahead and continue watching this one because you're in the right place. If you watched that video, you now know that with the bucket balance, if the object on the left is balanced with the object on the right, meaning that the scale goes straight across, one is not higher up than another one, you know that both of these objects have the same mass, right? If this side says 8 grams, that means the object over here has the same mass. This pen is also 8 grams. That's important to know. So you're going to know that the objects on the left or the right have the same mass if the scale is balanced, meaning not one side is higher than another one. So this example says, the bucket balance shows the mass of 1 marker. What is the mass of 5 markers? Find the unknown. So my question is asking me, what is the mass of 5 markers? This bucket balance shows me the mass of just 1. Because my bucket balance is level, is in line with each other, I know that this 1 marker is 8 grams. So to figure out how much 5 markers is in grams, let's see if this gets unblurry. There we go. I'm going to have to do some multiplication. This 8 comes from the 8 grams of mass here for the 1 marker. So 1 marker has a mass of 8 grams. To figure out the mass of 5 markers, I'm going to have to multiply 8 grams times 5. So we don't have the mass weights on one side of the balance with the other side. So we're just going to imagine. But again, when the sides are balanced, the objects have the same mass. So 5 markers are 8 grams each. So multiply. 8 times 5 equals 40. So the unknown is 40. So the mass of 5 markers is 40 grams. And this label here is important. We want to make sure we're talking about grams because that's what it said up here. Remember, the G stands for grams. All right, when you're ready, you can flip the page. In this second example, I don't have a balance bucket scale anymore. I'm going to read this question. It says, what is the total mass of the 2 pieces of fruit? Write an equation with a letter for the unknown, then solve. Okay, so they want me to find the total mass. Total reminds me that that's a keyword for addition. What is the total mass of these 2 pieces of fruit? So I'm going to be adding the mass of the apple to the mass of the banana to find the total mass of both pieces of fruit. I need to remember this important step here where it says that my job is to write an equation with a letter for the unknown, then solve. What part don't I know yet? The unknown is the mass of both of these pieces of fruit. So my unknown, the letter that I'm going to use, is going to be where my answer goes, where my sum is. So add to find the unknown. 216 comes from the mass of the apple. 132 comes from the mass of the banana. Now, here is my addition problem. It equals F. I'm assuming our book picked F because these are both pieces of fruit. So my unknown is F. I don't know what the mass of both of those are, so that's why I have that symbol there. Now I'm going to actually add these numbers together to figure out the total mass. So in my workbox, I'm going to line up my numbers. 216 plus 132. Starting with the ones place, 6 plus 2 is 8. 1 plus 3 is 4, and 2 plus 1 is 3. So the total mass of the apple and the banana together is 348 grams. So my unknown is 348. The two pieces of fruit have a combined mass of 348 grams. Okay? Moving on to guided practice, this section will help set you up for success on the independent practice questions, because here our job is to write an equation with a letter for the unknown and then solve. So here we are back to my bucket balance. My question is asking me, what is the mass of 9 buttons? So looking at my bucket balance, I can understand that, look, I just have one button. One button, my scale is balanced, so one button has the mass of 4 grams. So how might I find out the mass of 9 buttons? If you said multiplication, you're correct. Now, what numbers am I going to multiply? I'm trying to figure out 9 buttons. And I know that one button has a mass of 4 grams. So I'm going to multiply 9 times 4. And then I also need a letter for the unknown. I'm going to pick the letter B for buttons. Okay? My last part is to solve. So to figure out my unknown, the mass of 9 buttons, I need to multiply 9 times 4. 9 times 4, I know, is 36. So the mass of 9 buttons is 36. Don't forget your unit label, 36 grams. I'm going to put the G for grams here. Okay? The next one here is question 2. It says, what is the mass of 1 jack? Well, I can see looking at my bucket balance that I have 30 grams, but for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 jacks. So what operation might I do to figure out the mass of just one of these? If you said division, you would be correct. In order to figure out the mass of 1 jack, I'm going to have to divide this mass here, 30 grams, by 6 to figure out the mass of just one. So I'm going to set up my problem here. 30 grams divided by my 6 jacks. Don't forget your letter for the unknown. I'm going to pick J for jack. And to figure out the mass of just that one jack, I'm going to do 30 divided by 6. I can think in my head about an inverse operation. 6 times what is 30? I know 6 times 5 is 30. So 30 divided by 6 must be 5. So my unknown is 5 and 5 grams. Don't forget your label. Okay? Now your job is to work on the independent practice page. You'll notice you have quite a few questions that look a lot like the ones we did in guided practice. I would suggest that as you work on these questions, that you really look for the key words here that tell you what operations you're going to be doing, and looking at the pictures to help you figure out how to get started with your problem. So again, these directions say, write an equation with the letter for the unknown, then solve. Looking here, you're trying to figure out what is the mass of these 2 books. So right here, you can see, I just have 1 book. So how am I going to figure out the mass of 2 books? The next one says the golf ball, that's this green guy here, has a mass of 45 grams. So how am I going to use this information to figure out just the mass of the baseball? If I took this one away, that's my clue for you, what might happen and what might I find out about the mass of my baseball? This one here says, what is the mass of one of these dominoes? This scale gives me the mass of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dominoes. This question here, number 5, reminds me a lot of question 2 over here. So this is a clue for you also. Then you're going to move on to the algebra questions. They ask you to solve each of these questions here, solving for the unknown. Something times 9 is 63. 392 plus something is 523. So for this one, you're going to be thinking inverse operations. Then you're going to go ahead and move on to some of these word problems on the back. Make sure that you're looking for those key words. The keywords will help you figure out what operation you need to do. As always, don't forget to circle the questions that you get stuck on and bring those questions to your teacher's next Zoom lesson. If you have any questions at all, reach out to your teacher and let them know where you're stuck. I hope that this video helped you. Good luck on your math today.